Alrighty, and we are live. Today's guest, we have Homer Helios, absolute legend in the space, man. It's a pleasure to have you on.
How you doing, Coast? It's a pleasure to be on, man.
Very, very good, dude. So tell me, obviously there's been a bit of change, especially in the online presence over the last, couple months? Definitely this year, obviously with the big face reveal and everything like that. So walk me through, what was that like? We can see your face now, super handsome dude. What was the process of that like?
Yeah, man, it was kind of a inevitable event. I just didn't really know when, and the circumstance kind of fell in my lap in the best way possible. So I thought, gotta listen to the synchronicity and just jump on. So here I am in the flesh. Nothing's really changed though on my end.
No, it's good to see you, man. It's very, very good to see you finally. And you're sipping on the magic potion as well. Shout out to Vance. We're both on that for the podcast. It's definitely the way to go.
Shout out to Vance and Eric as well with based Shilaji. Got the little combo there.
Awesome, dude. So where are you now? So are you in Miami?
I am in Miami. Yep. Buena Vista,
dude,
to be more specific.
And how long you been there for?
I was born and raised here, man. So I'm one of the few
awesome.
Local natives here. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, it looks absolutely lovely over there. The weather there it actually looks better than here, which is very impressive considering it's just coming out of winter there, start of spring for you. So
winter barely exists here, so
damn, that's good. That's exactly what you want, right? It's
exactly.
Probably, is that the only place in the States that's like that?
I'd say one of the few. Yeah, definitely. The more south you go, the more warm it's going to be year round. But you also have like hurricanes here and random sporadic rain showers. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but it's all good.
Yeah, very tropical weather, right?
Exactly.
Awesome, dude. So I wanted to get your almost like philosophy on training, because what you do, it's slightly different than what I do. I see you doing like a lot of kettlebell work and things like that. So like, how is your approach to training, and has it always been that way it is now, or has it sort of evolved over the years? Because obviously you've been training for a while now, right?
Yeah. I started training when I was 15. I'm 27 now, so it's been a minute. No, it wasn't always this way. I was very much not to say that you're like bro split or anything, but I was very much like bodybuilding focused, and that allowed me to kind of gather the body awareness needed to know what it feels like when I'm training this muscle, what it feels like when I'm training this muscle, to kind of know my limits. Yeah, I started yoga in my early 20s, so that kind of deepened my body awareness and what I was capable of. I got really into just being mobile and stretching, and that I saw that helped my lifting as well. And not only did it make me leaner because I was sweating in hot yoga very often, but it just allowed me to understand the capabilities and what the body is capable of a bit more. So that's when I started really blending the lifting stuff with the kettlebell functional training. And then, at this point, I'm training very intuitively. I barely have a routine set up. I'll just go to the gym and see how I feel and kind of just warm up and go from there. But I still do focus on the... Yeah, exactly. I still do focus though on like compound lifts. I still do a lot of bodybuilding classic stuff, but I'm supersetting with kettlebells and doing a lot of like high intensity as well.
Yeah, that's a good mix to have, like a lot of the functional mobility style stuff mixed in with the actual bodybuilding stuff as well, and then you get the best of both worlds, really, right?
Yeah, exactly. The bodybuilding stuff is going to bring that growth and that like aesthetic look, but the functional training is going to, I feel, bring more of that longevity aspect where I'm not so rigid and I can kind of do more like rotational movements and just feel like my body's like liberated physically.
100%. Yeah, I love the mobility style stuff and stretching stuff as well. And even like with the, traditional, per se bodybuilding training, even doing that in a slightly different way where you're really taking things through the full range of motion, and you're actually, each repetition is a stretch as well, and you're stretching the muscle under load. And then you can still maintain a lot of that mobility, because many people have the mistaken idea that if you do a lot of bodybuilding training, you're just going to end up real stiff and you can't move around. And that can be true if you don't actually work through a full range of motion, which a lot of people do. But when you are actually moving the muscle as much as possible from the complete shortened position to the fully lengthened position, you know, you're going to still maintain that optimal mobility as well. And then, of course, adding in the extra mobility sort of work is just going to take it that little step further.
Yeah, exactly. There's a spectrum within the bodybuilding lifting as well, where you can be not doing that full range of motion, so your body gets used to just that range of motion. And if you ever by accident go further, now your body doesn't know how to act. So you need to be able to train it to be ready for any range of motion, which is a good point for sure.
100%. And do you do any other style of stuff? Because I know you're always in that little like beach outdoor gym that looks absolutely awesome. Is that your like regular gym you train at?
I try to go there as often as I can, but no, it's not my regular gym. But that is completely equipped with everything you would need. It's just kind of like maybe like a half-hour drive away. You got to find parking and all that, so it's not the most convenient, but definitely the most optimal. I mean, in the sun, grounded, sun and steel. That's the way to go, man.
It's the absolute best. If anyone listening hasn't trained outside before on a nice sunny day, especially when you're like barefoot on like sand and things like that, it's just next level. The connection you feel, not just to yourself, but like to the earth as well. And then you can produce even better of a workout, and you just feel absolutely amazing. And with the sun beating down on you, you just got the blood flow from the gods, and you just look crazy as well. So it's a win-win-win, you know? Yeah,
you're getting tan, you're getting pumped, and then right after that, you go to the beach. It's the perfect setting.
Absolutely perfect, dude. So I wanted to ask you about the honey. So the Helios honey, it's obviously taken, you know, at least Twitter by storm. You know, everyone's ripping the honey, and it looks amazing. The design's really, really cool as well. So how did that, you know, come to be? And obviously there's a lot of sort of things involved to have a scalable sort of honey company. So how did that actually come about?
Yeah, and the scaling and everything is kind of what I'm dealing with now. That's why there hasn't really been a drop, but I am dropped lately, that is. But I am working on some new stuff as well in regards to the honey, not just solid honey, but you know, I want to make a product that is basically a lozenge where it has honey and like mineral rich salt within it, so you can just kind of suck on that on the way to the gym, and maybe some L-theanine in there. I'm not sure yet, but just more of like an on the go product that can be more niche down to the gym goer, the holistic health user. But yeah, man, I was just sprinkling and drizzling honey literally on everything, and I felt amazing. And I kind of discovered glyphosate and the harms of glyphosate and what it can do to the gut. So glyphosate's basically just a pesticide that farmers spray on plants, and when bees pollinate certain flowers, obviously they don't know it was sprayed with glyphosate, but the honey ends up having like trace amounts of glyphosate. So if you're having a lot of honey, you might be getting trace amounts of glyphosate. So I wanted to kind of focus and promote a honey that was glyphosate free. So I was able to find a farm and work closely with them, and that's how I was able to bring that to market, man.
Yeah, that's very awesome. And what you were saying about like the lozenge, that's such a good idea. Like you can just chuck it in, like you said, on the way to the gym. You know, a little bit of salt as well. It's going to hydrate you. You're going to get the honey, the hit from the honey as well. That's basically exactly what I'm doing right now for the pre-workout. I just do a spoonful of honey, and then I just put a whole bunch of salt on top of it. So having like an actual product for that you can take on the go, that's perfect, man.
Yeah, exactly. And even at the gym too. I mean, I've brought honey to the gym in between sets. So if you can just you can pop one of those in, it's gonna be great.
Next level. You'd be sucking on one on the way there and during the workout. It's going to be optimal training. Like, what about, obviously your sort of nutrition is basically, at least I'd assume, is basically the same as mine. It's like a lot of red meat, it's a lot of honey, obviously, and then you know, high quality mineral water. You rip in a lot of coconut water in Florida as well?
Oh yeah, constantly. Yep. I mean, I was definitely more animal based maybe a couple years ago, and that was really treating me well. But something that comes along with, you know, awareness of the body and awareness of your health is realizing kind of the point of diminishing return with certain things when it comes to training, when it comes to diet. So about a year ago, I started adding in more salads and more, not all veggies, but I do eat some vegetables. Like I have carrot salads often, and cucumbers, arugula, obviously sweet potato and potato as well. But yeah, the protein side of things is focused mainly on red meat, eggs, things like that. Lots of bone broth as well.
Yeah, bone broth's definitely a good one, especially when you're breaking a fast in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely a good idea to rip the bone broth. For anyone listening, if you're not sure what to do, if you're fasting, best thing you can really do is break it with a little bit of bone broth. You're going to feel so much better. Hit the day running, really good for your health, your gut, sorry. You're not shocking the gut with caffeine or something like that.
Yeah,
First
you should never
thing,
have caffeine first thing in the morning. Definitely not.
Yeah.
At least a couple hours in. I mean, I go for a walk, either some mineral water, some bone broth, some shilajit, grounding, obviously.
And what's a typical day sort of looking like for you then? Obviously, getting up, moving around, staying active, shilajit, you said, and then what else sort of rounds out your day?
Building Homer things, working on future projects, checking in with clients, and yeah, as long as really it comes down to how can I grow as a person, whether it's podcast, whether it's reading, how can I grow as a business, and how can I improve on my health and my mental acuity. So whether it's meditation, whether it's breath work, whether it's grounding, it's just reprioritizing what makes you human and what is helping you thrive is what I focus on. Helping me thrive.
100%. And focusing on the things that you can control as well, right? Controlling the things that help you, and then sort of discarding the rest and just not really using your mental energy or even your physical energy on those things that aren't actually helping you towards whatever that goal may be. And you see that time and time again. And like people think like all the optimizing stuff is so hard and you need so much time to do it, but really you don't really, because you're just discarding a lot of the nonsense sort of activities. It's like cutting out a couple hours of soy flicks in the afternoon will actually do wonders, and you have so much time now. So that's a massive one, just cutting out the sort of garbage time that you're spending doing things that aren't really helping you achieve whatever it is you're looking to go for, right?
Yeah, and when you do that, it really does create kind of a snowball effect where you realize like how much mental energy you're burning on even thoughts that don't promote the life you want, thoughts that don't promote the self-image that you're trying to attain. And really, it's all rooted in those habits, in the soy flicks, in the Zog slop, and the Uber Eats, and all this bullshit that we're all like we're inputting into our lives. So when you slowly but surely start to like pull that thread, you realize that you're wasting a lot of mental energy on things that are just burning calories in the wrong way. Like a lot of people are stuck in the past or projections of the future, and that's just. They're fueling their mind with this negativity and this fiction that isn't serving them any good in the present.
100%. And yeah, there's like 10% of their mental energy is focused on the present moment, and then the other 90% is on the past, and then worrying about what happened in the past, and then worrying about what might happen in the future, rather than just the best thing in my opinion to do is just spend majority, like 95%, 99% on that present moment. And then obviously doing that is going to give you the best shot of the future. Like worrying about what's going to happen in the future isn't going to help at all. And spending that mental energy, and that worry is a negative sort of energy that you're using, and you're almost alchemizing that into your future by worrying about it and feeding it that negative energy all the time, when you could just have the positive energy in the present moment right now, which is going to, like you said, snowball into the future, because the future is going to come either way, and worrying about what might happen isn't ever going to help, but actually being present in the moment always will. And doing best with what you have right now, like you said, cutting out the goy slop, cutting out the soy flicks, all that sort of stuff is just going to help you more and more. And it's going to, like, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be like Homer, but you're going to do it over years and years, and it's slowly going to build up, and you're going to have a radically different future than what you think is, or what you're worrying about what might happen, just because you're more present in the now.
Yeah, and all we have is the present. So really, one day you will wake up tomorrow as Coast, right? Like that is going to happen if every day is focused on that. And a lot of people are stuck in this programming and don't even realize it. So just hearing a conversation like this and kind of spark that within them, and and it's not going to come easy, but what you can control is, like you said, the environment and your inputs. If you just go outside more, I guarantee you're going to realize like what you should be doing. We all know what we have to do and what we should be doing. So if you just put yourself in the environment that's going to like spark these thoughts, spark this motivation and this awareness, then that's what you got to do. Just put yourself in that place more often.
Totally. And that changing the environment's such a massive one, right? And I was just talking to Colin, I think it was last week, about it, Colin Skinner, awesome guy, and was talking about environments and how changing your environment is going to change your thought patterns and your belief systems and, how you act. Obviously, is a downstream effect of your thoughts. So, if you're finding yourself stuck in that rut and you're just stuck, on that same perpetual cycle of doing these things that aren't amazing, a fantastic tool that is at your disposal and it is in your control is where you put yourself. So you're choosing to put yourself in that, that little hamster wheel sort of thing. So you're continuing to choose to jump in there, the same thing every day and go around the wheel. When one day you can just wake up and choose to go into a different environment, move country, move state. You don't have to go that far. You can just even move to the town next door or just move house in your same town you're in right now. And then that can spark massive change, massive creative energy. You can start thinking differently. You'll be exposed to different people. The people at your local coffee store are all new people. They might have different sort of ideas. They might act slightly differently. That might rub off on you and spark a thought, and then you can run with that. And just changing that environment is such a powerful thing, and it's so easy to do. But so many people think that they have to wake up and get back on the hamster wheel every single day when it's not true at all. It's you choose to do that every day, but that's a good thing, because if you choose to do it, you can choose to not do it. So that's a really important thing as well, is choosing that environment. And if your environment isn't serving you, just change the environment. It's super simple.
Yeah, so many people put all these blockades in front of what they know is good for themselves. Like, you could change your environment, but you immediately think, what are my parents going to think of me? Like, what are my coworkers going to think if I quit this job and I go for this? And it's just immediate. How am I going to be perceived in everyone else's eyes when really, like, when you die, you're going to die just you and God. So you got to focus on what is good for you. When in your heart of hearts what you have to do, you just have to chase that. And if you have to, go on more walks and kind of get in touch with that voice a bit more, like, there's a reason people love hiking. There's a reason people resonate with nature. It's because that's like where we come from. So if you have to intentionally touch grass more to kind of get those thoughts, then make it happen.
Totally. And like, a lot of people think as well, it's like, oh, that's just not for me. I'm just not that guy. I see Homer, he's doing all these awesome things. Like, he's so amazing, but like, I just can't do that. That's not really me. And that's so untrue, you know? So I wanted to see, like, were you always who you are now? Obviously, Jack, tan, handsome dude, successful, has a following, all these sort of things, right? Were you always that guy, or, did you wake up one day and decide, actually, I'm going to change and I'm going to actually make something of this?
I always knew I wanted to be that guy, and there was a seed of that guy within me. And, whatever circumstances it might be, that voice kind of gets dimmed, that light kind of gets dimmed a bit. Whether it's you're hanging around the wrong people, you're engaging in the wrong habits, and you kind of snowball into this other way, this other path. And you always have to listen to that voice within you that's like beckoning to be released, basically. And, it was really the online community, like the solar sphere, that really made me realize, like, yeah, man, I'm not crazy. Like, although no one around me is striving the way that I want to strive or living the way that I want to live, there's people out there that obviously are. So if they're doing it, literally, why can't I? So Homer Helios kind of was a way for me to keep myself accountable and also show others, and just be that node, just like others were a node for me, and kind of be that lighthouse for people. And that's helped me stay on point. And whether or not you have a following or not, I'm sure you have a sibling, a friend, a community that you can kind of be an exemplar of those habits and of what it means to be, a high performance, like, forward thinking male, right? So you can always adopt those habits from one second to the next and just follow through with who you want to be.
100%. And that's the best way, the best sort of thing to do anyway, is leading by example to your peers. And, because those are the people that you care most about, right? And leading by example to your family and your friends, because at the end of the day, leading by example to like strangers online is great. And, it's an awesome thing to do, but being able to do that on the small scale, even just, that you can show your dad or show, your brother that there's a different sort of way than you've been living, and you're going to feel so much better in every single metric, and look, I've done it as well. I can show you it's possible. I'm the living proof of it. And then you can, spark that flame in them, and then hope, and then, they can spark that flame in another person. And it's like a knock-on effect. And it's like the one candle that lights 1,000 others, right?
Yeah. And I was blessed with very fit and healthy parents. That's why I went to the gym at 15. My first job was at Gold's Gym. I was
Nice.
I was a sign twirler on the street with a Gold's Gym sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was raised in kids club gyms, like in the daycare. So as soon as I was old enough to get a membership, I was there lifting with my mom, there lifting with my dad. Obviously, the health side, they were trying their best, but like anybody, when the information isn't present, you're eating seed oils, you're eating all this processed garbage that you don't realize is bad until you have that awareness. So that kind of came with time. But I'm definitely grateful to have that foundation. And anybody who's thinking, oh, well, I wasn't raised that way. Well, now you have the opportunity to be that parent for your future children. So there's literally no excuses. There's always a reason.
100%. There's always a reason why not to do something, and there's always a reason to do something. And it's what you choose, like what reason that you choose to go with is going to define, your future. Like if you, like same thing, like exactly, like if, oh, my parents aren't fit, so then I can't be fit. You're just accepting that future, rather than, oh, my parents aren't fit, but I can then change that habit, and be the fit dad or whatever to my children. And it's the same thing with like other, like, it's not just health, it's not just fitness or even health, it's other like per se like bad habits, like, drinking and like all these sort of things as well. It's like, oh, my mum like was a drug addict, so now I have to be a drug addict. It's like, no, you can choose your reaction to that event, and then you can break that cycle, or you can choose to perpetuate that cycle, and it's really all up to you. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and it's all like really what it comes down to is it comfortable or uncomfortable, right? Like it's very comfortable to believe and accept, man, I can't be fit because my parents weren't, so I'm just gonna walk this path, even though knowing that you look up to these people who are fit, who are healthy, who do have successful businesses, right? But my parents never taught me about business, so I'm just gonna do this route. You have to realize like the discomfort is exactly where you want to be, because that's where you're going to learn all the things that you want to be, right? It's nothing really is going to come easy if it's not innately within you. You have to take that first step and just be open to the possibility of learning. You need to be open to the possibility of changing, or else nothing changes if nothing changes. So you have to be willing to change.
Totally, dude. Absolutely agree with everything you just said there. And that ability to change is always there. Like it's never too late to change your habits. Like it's never too late to start just going to the gym and just doing like some movement. Just jump on the treadmill, like just do a little bit. It's never too late to actually start something. And if you see like these guys online that are like the top one, like 0.001% of health and fitness, and you're like, oh, that's how I have to be. Like that's not how you have to be. You can if you want to, and you can work towards that, and it can happen for anyone. Like you don't have to have like crazy good genetics, you don't have to do performance enhancing drugs, you don't have to do all these things, and like they're just really limiting beliefs. Oh, I can't do X because of Y, and you're just programming your subconscious to believe that when you don't have to be. You can have like an unlimiting belief, like I can do anything I set my mind to, even though that I am with this like injury or whatever it is. It's just your acceptance of that situation or that circumstance is going to dictate what's going to happen in your future. Because you can see guys, like you can even see the top 0.0001% of dudes, and some guys like in a wheelchair, or he's got something that's even worse than your ailment or disability or whatever it may be. There's always some other guy that's got the same thing or worse, that's in a better position than you are in whatever metric that you're looking at. So you can never really use an excuse per se. It's more so you just have to look at yourself in the mirror and sort of say, okay, am I going to keep accepting this reality, or am I going to make a change? And like you said, it's like that comfortability thing. Like it's uncomfortable making that change, but until you make that change, nothing is going to change, and you're forever going to keep waking up, keep jumping on that little hamster wheel, and keep running around in circles. And then you can choose to complain about that or not, or you can choose to, next day when you wake up, go the different route and see where that ends up.
Yeah, man, and it's that little point, that little space of time right there where you can choose to think this, and you can choose to think that. That's where a lot of people want to talk bad about affirmations, but I believe that if you truly are in that spot where you can't make that change, if you are daily affirming to yourself, like, I am greater than my circumstances. I am greater than my circumstances. When your circumstances are like face to face, now you already have that foundation to choose the brave route. I'm greater than this issue. I'm greater than this problem. So if you're there and you really feel like you're hitting like a roadblock, just start affirming these things that you want to be, and when it comes down to it, your mind is just gonna switch to that direction, and then it all begins. The snowball starts.
100%. And people clown on affirmations, and I can see why, because they think it's like you wake up and you look in the mirror and you say, I drive a Ferrari, and then they think like a Ferrari is going to appear in the garage, and it doesn't quite work like that, right? But it's more so like almost programming your subconscious to believe something is possible, and telling yourself, I am capable of doing X, Y, Z. And then once you've actually convinced yourself that it is possible, you will do what it takes to actually try and do it. Obviously, you have to put the actions in place to make something happen. You're not just going to say, I want a Ferrari, I want a Ferrari, I want a Ferrari 10 times in the mirror, and then it appears in the garage, unless you're like some sort of alchemist or wizard or something. But you have to take the actions and put it into reality, but you're never going to take those actions if you think in your subconscious, you think it's not actually even possible. And it goes back to that limiting belief sort of thing. It's almost just like retraining and reprogramming your subconscious mind to thinking it is achievable through affirmations and through actually just hard coding it in yourself by saying it out loud and just saying, I can achieve ABC. I can achieve ABC. And then just telling you that every single morning, that's going to program it in your subconscious. So then when that hurdle does come up, because it is eventually going to come up along this pathway, there's going to be 100 hurdles, right?
Exactly.
If you think in your subconscious that it's actually not even possible, you'll see that hurdle and turn the other way and go back to the hamster wheel. Or if you've said these affirmations, or you've reprogrammed your subconscious mind into knowing that it is actually possible and you can actually do it, you're going to see that hurdle and you're just going to jump straight over it, and then the next hurdle, and so on and so forth, until you do actually achieve that thing. So I can see why people clown on like affirmations, but they're getting it wrong, and they're interpreting it the wrong way of how it actually works. In my mind, that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's not a substitute for the hard work at all.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah, your beliefs create your thoughts, and your thoughts create your actions. So that means that your beliefs are directly correlated to your actions, and your actions create your outcomes. So if you have that foundational belief that you can't do something, you are constantly going to be doing things that you feel you can do, which is probably a fraction of what you actually can do. So building that ironclad core to be able to, no matter what happens, I'm not changing. I'm going to continue. There's so many successful entrepreneurs with stories of 20 failed businesses. Everyone thought they were crazy. Why are you doing this? Why don't you stop? And then that 21st business, now you're a genius. That was $1 million business, and everyone is looking up to you. Like, as long as you
success,
can, yeah, exactly. It looks like that, but nobody sees all the failures for like a decade.
Exactly.
So, and that was probably because you built that belief, that ironclad core within yourself, that you are who you say you are, and you're doing the things that you believe you can do. And that's it. You live in alignment with your purpose. You live in alignment with what you believe you can achieve until it's real, until it's a reality.
Yeah, I love that, dude. And I have a question for you about that, because obviously I have my own philosophy about this, and I've shared it on the podcast before about, living in alignment with your purpose and how to actually go about doing that and how to find that purpose for you. Because, your purpose may not be someone else's purpose. Obviously it's not going to be. My purpose isn't your purpose, you know? So like,
Yeah.
how do you go about, you know, like say if someone's listening and they're trying to think, how do I actually find what I need to do? You know, they just feel stuck in what they're doing and they're like, I didn't even know what the finish line on the other side even looks like. Like, how do I even locate it so then I can start running towards it? Like, what would your advice be for that?
Yeah, I think, you know, you might not be the same person you were when you were a child, but you definitely had less filters. So what was it that you enjoyed growing up before the world kind of got to you and made you believe what you're capable of, right? Whatever that passion was, not to say you're that same person, but kind of tap back into that mindset where no one made you believe, like whether it was your parents, a teacher, friends, what was it that made you happy and what was it that made you feel the most alive, right? So follow that, whatever that may be, whether you're into botany or plants. Like, who told you couldn't be a botanist? Why did you believe them? Why are you now at an office job? Like, go take a botanist class, go wolf, go be a farmer in a foreign country. Like, there's no reason why you can't just do something outlandish the very next day that aligns with whether or not you have that purpose or you're looking for that purpose. Like we said earlier, change your environment like radically, because this is the only life that you have. So why are you continuing to waste time when you could, if you don't feel like you have a purpose, go out and find that purpose through new events, through new experiences. Like, this is how we spark change. If you're living the same every single day and you don't know why you have or you don't think you have a purpose, it's because you're living not how you want to every single day. Like, you need to bring about change if you want to discover something new. So really focusing on just new things, new mental, like engrave these grooves in your mind that are just new. You need to change your personality and your reality.
100%. And like going back to what you said before, it's like your thoughts define, you know, your thoughts define your actions define your reality. So basically your thoughts define your reality. So changing the thought intake is, you know, the internal thoughts is going to change the external world. And you're never going to get new thoughts if you're, like you said, in that day-to-day sort of life. And if you are struggling to find that purpose, maybe change the day-to-day life. Because if you hate the day-to-day life so much, there's no wonder that you're so down, you're so not enjoying everything around you. You know, you think everything's so bad, and it's actually unobtainable to have that amazing happy life where you're grateful every single day and you love, you know, all the people around you and you love going outside, all these sort of things that you're currently not doing because you just don't think it's possible. So just switching that in your mind, changing those actions and start doing those things, and you're going to find it is actually possible for everyone. Because like you said, that's where we came from. We came from nature. We came from being outside all the time. It's only very recently that we've actually put ourselves in these little insulated boxes, you know, to obviously to give us shelter, which is great, but you know, we don't need, you know, that shelter 97% of your life. You know, you only need it really maybe at night, you know, maybe when a storm's passing, those sort of things. Obviously you need shelter, but you know, staying inside that little sheltered box and that insulated box your entire life isn't going to breed, at least in my opinion, you know, a purposeful and fulfilled life.
Yeah, and just to amplify that a little bit, like, it's not always going to be amazingly happy every single day, right? But if you are already living in a state that you do not want to be living in, then those slight little negative things are going to hit much harder because you're already in a state where you're not aligned with who you want to be. But if you're living on a path that's leading you towards salvation, any little obstacle, any little negative thing, you're going to be grateful for, because you're already living in alignment with who you want to be. So you just see it as an opportunity. But that's kind of the main switch. Like, if you're already on a path that you don't like, all these little things are going to feel much more heavier and they're going to slow you down much more. But on the inverse, if you're happy with your momentum and your path, then all these little things kind of just brush off your shoulders, because in the grand scheme of things, like, you're still living the life you want, you know?
Yeah, and you're enjoying that process, right? You're enjoying the journey rather than just having an arbitrary destination that you think you're going to achieve that happiness at, whether that's like a financial goal or whatever it may be. You know, you're actually enjoying that whole race or that walk to that end point, right? So you're actually going to have a much better time rather than, you know, and you're going to take the things in your stride. Like you said, you know, the punches are going to come, but they're just going to bounce off you, you know, rather than if you're hating the journey and every day it's just a grind and you're like, fuck, this sucks, you know, and you're obviously telling yourself that it sucks, so it's going to suck. That's a side note there. But if you're only looking forward to the final destination, those punches are going to come, those hurdles, and they're going to trip you up. They're going to knock you down, and they're going to be much harder. So yeah, that's definitely a very, very big, good point you have there. And that sort of segues into the next sort of thing I wanted to ask you about is like, what's your opinion on like the average, you know, young male now and the state of, you know, they call it like mental health. Like what's your stance on all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because everything it kind of ties back to the same thing, but you know, we're living in such a plastic, fake, subhuman world. If you look at like, I mean, that's also an affirmation, right? But if you are your average like 18, 17, anywhere from like 18 to 21, right? And you're waking up, immediately scrolling, immediately, you know, eating some type of processed food, you're staying indoors. I mean, this is not a recipe for positive mental health. You know, this isn't going to breed a self-confidence image when you look in the mirror. You are living on a program, right? You're immediately scrolling and looking how everyone else is living. You're immediately looking at everybody else's success, and it kind of pivots you from yourself, right? You need to kind of develop that awareness and that practice and that reflex to be able to look inwards, right? I see a lot of young people who are just not like, they're not self-aware. They have zero introspection. And I think it's because they don't have a chance to. They don't even know what it's like, because I mean, you really need to develop a relationship with your screen that is not fostering some type of subhuman way of life, right? You need to realize what we are. You need to live in accordance with your nature, right? Which is getting sun, grounding, eating healthy, eating real food. This as a foundation is going to be able to bring about positive mental health about yourself and the way that you view life, the way that you view what's possible. If you don't have any hope because you don't know, you're not living in a way that is breeding hope, then you have nothing. You know, you're just kind of, you're just depressed. And for some reason, depression and anxiety and these types of things are promoted in today's world, like on TikTok and all these social media platforms. It really pushes, the algorithm pushes hate, it pushes separation, it pushes anxiety and depression and pills and therapy. We all need help. We always are trying to get ourselves out of something when really we're not really in anything. If you just look around, you turn off your phone, everything's fine, man. You have your hands, you have the world at your fingertips. And that's why people like us and everybody in our sphere is kind of wanting to push that message that we're literally changing the algorithm in real time, right? Where we're just pushing this positive message and positive vibration and awareness, right? A rising tide lifts all ships. So you need to realize the power that you have within yourself at all times, and that should help your mental health.
Totally.
That was kind of a long-winded answer, but that's how I feel about it.
I liked it. It was good. It's very true though. Like basically everything you said there is just I 100% agree with. Everything you said there, I 100% agree with. It's like, of course you're going to feel depressed if you're waking up and you're seeing this guy's amazing life and all he does is travel and he's jacked, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're, you know, not good looking and you're overweight and you work a job you hate. Of course you're going to hate your life, you know. But you're it's almost like a hook that pulls you in, and you see this, like maybe it's like an artificial life, maybe it's not even real, you know. You don't even know that, you can't see it. So like giving so much weight to that and almost living like vicariously through that person, you know. And you see this all the time with like celebrities and stuff like that. Like I know in America it's absolutely crazy, the huge like celebrity culture. They like worship these celebrities and they'll like do anything. So like a great example is like Taylor Swift, right? Like especially obviously at the moment there's massive, you know, young girls that love Taylor Swift, and they'll fly across the country, they'll do whatever to go see Taylor Swift. But they won't do, you know, a tenth of that for themselves. It's such a backwards mentality and a way to live your life. Like you'll do so much for this person that doesn't even know you, that, you know, wouldn't really care in a sense, but you won't do anything for yourself, where it should be the other way around. You should be able to, obviously care for your fellow man and obviously care for your fellow person and be there to help them. I'm not saying be like a psychopath or anything like that, but you need to really look inwards at yourself and fix yourself first, so then you can show up then as the best version of yourself to everyone else. Because like you said, if you're waking up scrolling and you're looking at some dude's life and you're like, oh my God, that's so much better than mine, and then you have to face your life, of course you're going to be depressed, but you're not really doing anything to get out of there. And like, even if you are in like that, like per se, like shit life where you're working a job you hate and all these sort of things, but if you're actually doing something to get out of it, you'll be amazed at the change in your mental state.
Yeah.
Because if there's hope, you're just going to feel so much better. But it's when there's no hope, that's when people have like per se depression, is because they just have no hope of ever escaping, because they've never actually put any action into place. And the actions start with your thoughts. So it goes back to what we were saying before, is have the actual thoughts, almost the affirmations of, I can actually do this. I can change my circumstance. I can get out of this job where my boss is on my back every single day and he hates me. I can get out of this, and I can do it through this metric that I'm actually passionate about. Like you said, find something that you enjoyed when you were a kid, see what that passion is, what that purpose is, and then work on that. Like, you can do it in tandem of what you're doing with your, maybe if you do hate your job, hopefully you don't hate your job. But I'm just saying, a worst case scenario, if you do hate your job, do something that you are actually passionate about in your free time, that you're not already committed to working that job if you have to be there. Right. And then after a while, it's going to snowball and you're going to start to enjoy life. And like, when you're working towards something you enjoy doing, you're going to be rolling with the punches again, because you're now back, you're on that path. Even though your boss is yelling at you and he's like, for fuck's sake, Homer, why are you late today? All these things, you're going to be like, oh yeah, whatever, it's fine. Because you're working towards your dream. But if there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and he's like, you're late again, you're just like, oh my God, no, it's too much.
I am late again.
Exactly. But like, having that light at the end of the tunnel and that hope, it's all going to come from within you, and from actually putting effort into yourself and into your own life. Because all these amazing people and all these amazing lives that you see online didn't just happen on accident. They put effort into their life, and it might have been 10 years ago, and it's 10 years of snowballing effect, and now you're seeing the end result of that, and you're comparing it to your day zero that's not even started, your day -1, and of course it's going to be not so amazing. Of course you're going to feel not so great about your life, but you have the ability to change everything, like, very, very quickly. You can just decide one day, I'm no longer putting up with this shit. I'm no longer going to accept this reality. I know there's more out there for me, and that's true for everyone. Like, of course there needs to be people that do these sort of jobs, but like, you don't have to do it. Like, there's something else out there for you that you can be passionate about, and you can thrive in, and you can actually enjoy what you're doing. You don't have to be locked in an office and, it's okay because they do pizzas every Friday. Like, once a month we do pizzas on Friday. It's just like another cope that they're reeling you in with. It's like another hook. You like almost get off the hook, you're a fish, and then they throw another hook in the ocean, and you catch it again with the pizza party. It's like little things like that, and just ignoring those things. He's gone. Well, he's gone again, ladies and gentlemen. I think his phone is struggling. We'll bear with us 1 second. You're good, dude. We're back. What happened there? Did it overheat again?
The same thing, man. I was in the shade and it overheated.
Damn, it must be very hot over there.
It is. It's summer's coming, man. It's crazy.
Sweet, dude. I didn't even know what I was rambling about something.
No, but what I kind of wanted to expound on what we were saying is that it really does come down to dopamine management, right? Like chemically. When you wake up and you are receiving dopamine from other people living their best life, your brain is kind of thinking, I'm living my best life too. So you are going to be living a hybrid life where you're living vicariously through people on a screen. And this comes down to porn as well, right? Like, how much is porn putting you on the bottom of the totem pole, right? You're there thinking, I'm not worthy of getting this girl, and I'm gonna watch this other guy plow into this girl. Like, straight up, that's what's happening. Like, It's
Yep.
you're getting dopamine from a complete facade of an experience, and that can be extrapolated across the board when it comes to social media. So you really need to be aware of where you're getting this dopamine and prioritize sourcing dopamine from your own actions with your own hands and your own life. Because if not, you're living in other people's lives and you're not living your own. So that's what it comes down to.
Totally. Yeah, that's a very good analogy. I actually haven't heard that one, but
Yeah.
that's a really good one. One more thing I wanted to ask you about, like, is the sense of like community and building community and how to go about that for these young guys, like, because as you probably know, how powerful a like-minded community is, and even if it is online, but obviously it's much better in person, having that community of people that all support each other, and like you said, the rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
How does one guy go about finding community and finding like a band of like-minded brothers or sisters even? How does one find community?
Yeah, whether it's, I mean, you have to go where people are doing the physical activities that you resonate with, right? Like here in Miami, you could very easily go to the club and go to people who are enjoying drinking and doing drugs till the sun comes up. Or you can go to the beach, you can go to Muscle Beach, and you could find people that are lifting in the sun and care about their health. So it's all about you find what you're looking for, right? And you have to have the courage enough to want that community enough to go find it, because you can also think, oh, like, I don't know what I'm going to say to these people when I show up. I'm insecure. I don't know this. I don't know that. What if I, there's always is a rabbit hole that you can go in mentally that's going to give you reasons why you shouldn't go. But there's nothing more powerful than people who are on your same wavelength. So go out, have the courage to find that. Go to the gym, go to, whether it's a yoga class, a farmer's market even. Like farmer's markets usually have a lot of people who are, if you're into health and this type of thing, there's going to be people there that resonate with you a lot. So just put yourself out there, man. Get out in the world and everything's going to be fine.
Totally, yeah, and it's
your
simple
worst
as that.
fear is never going to come true, man.
And it's the same thing we were talking about before. It's like living in the future and focusing all your mental energy on the future of what might happen, and it's not going to happen. Like the worst thing, like you said, it's not going to happen. So just being more present in the moment, just kind of rock up and be like, oh, hey, hey guys, I'm into the same thing you are, and then you can talk about it. It's super easy and it's super basic, and it's very, very powerful, because having those people that you can relate to, you're no longer just that, like you were saying, back when you started, you're no longer just that lone wolf. You're the only dude in your friend group kind of doing this sort of thing and thinking like this. It's completely different now, because now everyone around you is, even doing better than you or further along the path than you. So you can learn things from them, and you're going to, he's gone again. All right, let's see how long it takes him to get back this time. That Florida sun is killer, ladies and gentlemen. That must be absolutely cooking that phone. Might need to put it in a little bit of a cooler, something like that. But that is all right. We'll just fill the space while he's gone anyway. Basically talking about community and finding, just put yourself into that situation where those people are going to be. If you want to be a chess champion, but all you do is go to the swimming pool, you're probably not going to find that many chess people there. But if you go to a chess tournament, you're going to find a lot more chess people there. Oh, you're back. I just keep going while you're gone. You're back inside?
I'm back inside now, man. Sorry about that, bro. Sorry to everyone listening too.
You're totally all good, man. I was just finishing up that community sort of part. I was just saying, if you want to be a chess champion, you want to learn all about chess, but all you do is go to the swimming pools, you're probably not going to find that many chess people there. So just go to like a chess tournament, go to chess games, or, I don't know where the chess things happen, but like go to where people play chess, and then you're going to learn more about chess. And it's as simple as that. Whatever your passion is, whatever you enjoy, it might not be fitness, it might not be health. It probably is if you're listening to this. But go to those places, like you said, go to the farmers markets. Those where people actually care about what they eat. They're going to be at the farmers market. They're going
Martial
to be
arts
at the
as
gym.
well.
They're going to be at the beach. They're going to, martial arts, exactly. They're going to be doing movement-based activities rather than sedentary-based activities. You know, they're not going to be, they're probably not going to be playing video games and things like that. You know, they're going to be, like you said, martial arts. They're going to be hiking. They're going to be doing all of these sort of movement-based activities. And if that's what you're really interested in, you should probably be doing those things as well. And then you're going to bump into people that are like-minded, and then you can build that relationship from there.
Yeah, I see you've been hitting the bag a lot, stuff, and doing that those types of things too, man. How has that been going?
Yeah, it's good, man. I haven't done it in a long time. I used to do it a lot when I was younger, but it's good getting back into it. It's super fun. It's, in my opinion, it's like the hardest form of cardio. Is, you know, like wrestling, just MMA in general, striking and wrestling, and like live striking and wrestling as well, like against someone else while you're getting hit. It's just, the cardio is so much harder. So it's almost like the perfect cardio session, and it's so much fun. So
yeah, because it has the
I'm loving it at the moment. Are you doing any?
Yeah, it has the nerves.
It's like frying your nervous system because you're constantly. Yeah,
man, but I do. I used to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for like 2.5 years, and I've really been craving the mat again. So I'm currently looking for gyms, and I'm gonna get back on it soon.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Jiu-Jitsu as well. I keep having, maybe this is a limiting belief, I keep having like shoulder dislocations every time I do Jiu-Jitsu again. So I've been stopping doing that as of, that's why I originally stopped. But yeah, the striking's definitely easy. It's easier on the shoulders. You know, I don't have some, 300-pound dude like popping my shoulders out or anything like that. But yeah, Jiu-Jitsu is awesome. Super good cardio. Super good like thinking exercise as well. Like, it's not just physical, because you have to actually think. It's almost like chess but with your body, and you're thinking so many moves ahead, and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to do this, then he's going to do that. How do I be in the right position so that I can then react to what he's going to do, and then win the position, or end up on top, or end up with a submission, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, you constantly have to be one step ahead, two steps ahead, and thinking ahead. It's the art of folding clothes while people are still wearing them, right? It's like, it's such a crazy sport. I really, really enjoy it. Like, just knowing where to press your body, how to move, and I mean, I was never more shredded than when I was doing BJJ, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting back in it.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely a good cutting tool if you're looking to get leaner. Summer's coming up. Enroll at your local gym, jitsu, or if you want to just do striking, that's fine too. You're going to get shredded doing either one of them. Have you done any sort of striking, or are you looking at getting into anything like that?
I've done a bit of boxing, but I definitely would want to incorporate that a bit more too. Yeah, man, I gotta get my hands right. I'm just like, I got addicted to wrestling and BJJ, so I was just a stand for that for a while. But I definitely got to get the hands right. So maybe I'll go to Turkey with you guys, and you can show me what's up.
You can pull up to our little dungeon gym. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's like 100 meters down the road, and it's like this little underground basement dungeon sort of thing, and then it's got like just a couple windows where the light comes through. It's cool. It's awesome. A good little vibe, good thing to wake up with in the morning. Little walk, and then get the sunrise, and then hit the dungeon. Do a little bit of cardio, and then refuel. Bit of coffee. Best cafes next door. It's like the perfect storm, really.
Awesome. Yeah, how has that been for you, man? Like, just developing Coast the last year, and now waking up at a crib in Turkey with the sun, and just being able to live the way you want to live, man. How has that journey been like for you?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's like exactly what we were talking about. It's like that. It's like having that light at the end of the tunnel, having that purpose that you're working towards, and knowing that you're doing exactly what you want to be doing. So, obviously, like, hurdles come up, things come up that isn't amazing. It may not seem like that at the time, but you can just roll with it, and it's amazing. But yeah, I'm absolutely, blessed to be living this life that I am now. Being able to, like you said, like, wake up in an awesome villa in Turkey, and do exactly what I want to do. Meet guys like you. It's awesome, and the best thing about it is being able to help all these people that I see or I work with online, and being that almost light for them, so they can make those changes in their life, in their health, so they can then show up and actually be the best version of themselves in whatever it may be, you know. So I feel like having that physical health is like the base layer that you can then build upon, because when your physical health is, you know, it doesn't have to be top tier, but at least if you're working towards it being good, then you're going to feel amazing. And then once you're doing that, your mental health is going to be so much better, like we were talking about, and then your spiritual health, and then your purpose, and everything is going to fall into place just from being active. And then that's that sort of slot I fill in with these guys I work with, is, you know, fulfilling all of their needs holistically with their health, and going through the mental side of things as well, and really giving my knowledge that I've learned over the years and being able to guide them through that. It's a really rewarding feeling, because then I can see at the end of it, they've made massive changes in their life. And even just guys that I don't actually work with, I just talk with random dudes online, and they message me, hey, I have this issue, and then I can actually give them some sort of advice that I know is going to work. It's a really, really good feeling. And then also getting to live like the exact life that I want to be living. It's like the perfect sort of thing. So yeah, I absolutely love
awesome,
it,
brother. I love it. I love to hear it.
Yeah, and doing a lot of like traveling this year as well is going to be amazing. Like, I haven't actually been to Europe before. Obviously, I'm from New Zealand, which is like the bottom of the world, and then I've been living in Australia the past few years, and then, you know, doing like Southeast Asia and stuff like that, because it's right next to Australia, but and done Dubai and things. But this is the first time I'm in Turkey, so I don't know if it's technically Europe or it's like the Middle East. I don't know what's going on, but going into actual Europe, you know, next month, which will be awesome. And then kind of traveling around Europe and things like that, seeing different environments, what we were talking about before. And then I know that's going to spark, you know, more creative energy, more different ways of thinking, seeing how different people live their life, you know, because I don't know everything. You know, there's definitely new aspects and new ideas that I can see and I can learn from other people that I know I'm going to find along the way in these travels that I have planned for the rest of the year. And then, you know, going over to Canada for July, for the month of July, and then after that, planning to, you know, come down to America. I might come into Miami as well. We'll get a lift in at
nice.
What's it called? What's the beach called? Is it Muscle Beach?
Yeah, Muscle Beach.
Muscle Beach. Yeah, might come down there and check out Muscle Beach and things like that, and just being able to like link up with people that I've met online as well. I'm sort of doing that now, which is really cool, because, you know, when I like started this whole thing, it must have been, I don't know, 2 years ago, something like that, 3 years ago maybe, and, you know, like, was talking to these guys online then that were also starting out. Now everyone's, you know, at the stage that they are now and sort of flourishing, right? And being able to like meet up with these guys in person. Like, I'm staying with my friend Bart, that he was like one of the first guys I met online, Coach Bart K. A quick shout out for him there. And then, you know, planning on linking up with like Marcel, and then like there's like some other guys that I know as well, and then obviously like Sol in Australia, hang out with them for a bit there as well. And just like being able to meet up with these people that, you know, I looked up to at one stage, and now it's like you're kind of your peers with them, and you're getting to be friends with them. And it's like that community sort of thing, but now it's almost turning into like a real life community rather than just online. And just these guys are scattered all over the world living the same lifestyle, but they're so far away. But now it's like connecting those dots and actually, you know, going all these places around the world and getting to meet these people in real life. It's really cool.
Yeah, man, it's super powerful. Definitely. We definitely got to get some type of solar compound going, like in El Salvador or something, where we can all just take over a town. Let's call it Chad or something.
Dude.
Yeah.
Totally, man. I'll be definitely down for that. Maybe end of the year sort of thing. We'll go down to, where even is El Salvador? Is that like Central America or something like that?
I think so. Yeah.
South America.
But it looks great though.
Okay. Yeah. I like the look of Central America, like a lot of like Costa Rica and stuff like that. And then there's another one. I can't even remember what the name is. There's a bunch of like cool stuff in Central America and like the top of South America as well, which has that like amazing sort of Florida-like climate. Which is what I love, obviously, you know, just sun all the time, always warm. It just feels great, you know, like humid as well, which is lovely too, obviously to a point. But yeah, it's amazing. I'd definitely be keen to rip some Central American compound. That'd be awesome.
Definitely, man. Yeah, it's like the climate of Florida without the American politics. That's definitely what we want. That's what we're looking for.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And what about like because I saw it must have been a few weeks ago now, is you guys did like a little meetup in Miami or in Florida somewhere, and you
Yep.
went and hit the beach and things like that. So Marcel was over there as well. Sol was there too.
Yeah, it was
How was that?
me, Sobra, Marcel, and Sprendax. That was a great
Yeah,
time, man. Yeah, that was
yeah,
Muscle Beach.
awesome.
That was one of those moments where, yeah, man, the community online, it just became real. We got a Airbnb here, and we were just meeting people from the community at Muscle Beach, working out, and just, yeah, it's so surreal and powerful. Just like you said, to follow these people online, look up to them, and then a couple years go by, you're doing the same thing, and everyone is just coming together and spreading the message and enjoying time in the sun, man. It really is really cool. And I mean, it's still so in the early stages, right? Like we have our whole lives ahead of us. So it's really cool to imagine. Like I really do think it's possible and real that we can create some type of community based in health and outdoor living and all just doing what we want to do. I think it's great. Really possible.
Totally. 100% possible. And like, of course it's possible, because if we believe it's possible, then it can happen, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's definitely possible to build something like, and then you can see it now as well. Like I can, like especially the last 6 months, there's been a massive shift in just the general population. It's starting to become a little bit more mainstream. More people are opening their minds up really about, you know, trusting the experts, and maybe they've been told the wrong information about health. That's why everyone's so sick. So they're looking for that alternative source now. And that's where guys like you come in and things like that, where you can share that information, and then they'll actually see, holy shit, this actually does work. And then they'll do it, and then they're going to tell all their friends, and then it just becomes a massive sort of community, which is like perfect, and it's exactly what we want. And like you said, it's only really the start of it now. Like in 5 years time, it's going to be huge. It's going to be massive.
Yeah, man, if no one is listening to advice from big food and big pharma, then it's not going to be there anymore, right? Like it just takes a few people to realize that what they're being fed is complete lies, and the food is basically poison. The medicine is making you sicker. And if you get in touch with your humanity, you're innately going to not want to be controlled. And that's when people find their own community and they govern themselves. And who knows what happens from there. But definitely it breeds some type of freedom and a community that's strong, sovereign and optimal, right? That's like what I stand for. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and like a healthy community is a strong community, right? Because when everyone's healthy, they are more autonomous. They can actually look after themselves. They can do what they actually enjoy doing. But if everyone's sick, like what you see now, it's much more likely that they're just going to relinquish that responsibility of what they need to do and just trust the experts. Like they say, you know, don't listen to your own eyes or your own ears or your own body. Just trust the experts. They have your best interest at heart. And that you can see where that's led us, and that's just led to a more sick society that trusts the experts even more. But now there's like a shift in the mental frame of a lot of people. Is they've done this for so long, they've seen, you know, generations of people doing this, and they've seen where it's gotten us. And it's almost like, you know, a dumb person, or, you know, like a dumb person doesn't learn from their mistakes. A smart person learns from their mistake, and the smartest people learn from other people's mistakes. So like those smartest people, I feel, or even the smart people that are learning from their mistakes of trusting that sort of the experts, or the smartest people that are actually saying, okay, everyone's doing this one thing, or these few things. There's similarities between what everyone is doing, you know, trusting the pharmaceuticals, you know, eating a standard American diet, being on your phone all the time, being indoors all the time, all of these sort of things, you know, everyone's doing those things, and everyone is now dealing with chronic mental health issues, chronic physical health issues, you know, everything in their life is just not amazing because they're all doing these things. And then the smartest people are seeing that, and they're saying, okay, well, there's similarities. These people are doing these things, and they're all like this. But then there's these other people, and there's not many of them, but there's some of them, and they're doing all of these things the same. And their mental health is amazing. Their physical health is amazing. They're living in purpose with what they love doing. they look like they're having a great time, and they're all, you know, jack tanned and handsome, so it's even better. And like, of course we're going to listen to that, because that sounds like something that I'd want to get involved in, you know. Like, why would you want to do what everyone else is doing when everyone else is getting sick? So yeah, I feel like those smartest people are really seeing that now, and the smart people as well that are starting to learn from their mistakes, that there is another option out there.
Yeah, and the most powerful population to control are young men, right? So I mean, we can lead our families. Like, this is the point of our lives where you should really take the steering wheel and just live life to the fullest, because, you know, they want to control the young men of this world and make them glued to their phones, part of the system, a cog in the machine, however you want to see it. But if you can kind of take control of your own life and realize and diverge that power back into yourself and influence your own thoughts and influence your own future and your own path, you're going to have a much better life, a much more prosperous life, a healthier family. You're going to be able to have a family that, you know, you are in control of, rather than like living through the government and through the news and through the advice of all these experts, like you're saying, right? You have to be your own expert of your own life through self-experimentation. And this is how this is how you take control of everything that your future holds.
Yeah, totally, man. And that's a perfect note to end on. And my laptop's about to die, so unfortunately. But one more thing I just wanted to add to that as well. It's like, look at who's saying what to do, you know. And like, if you look at guys like yourself, you know, obviously healthy, just from like looking at yourself, obviously you're healthy, you're living that natural lifestyle. Of course, people have been living like this for forever, right? Of course it's going to be what we're designed to do. Of course it's going to be healthy. So listening to someone's advice like yourself, you're going to have a much better life. Or, you know, listen to the advice of the, in quotation marks, experts, where your US, have you seen the United States Minister of Health? It's yeah, I'll pop him up on the screen here, which is but it's like, if you listen to the experts, like if you're listening to someone, you're going to end up like them, you know. If they're saying this and saying to do this, you're going to be like them. So like, listen to the people that you want to be like. You may not want to be like me, you may not want to be like Homer, so you probably shouldn't listen to us, right? But if you want to be like someone, find what they're saying and then start emulating what they're saying and putting into practice what they're saying. So if look at your health ministers, look at your experts that are telling you these things. Do you want to be like them one day? Probably not. So start, you know, like you said, taking it into your own hands. Your health is in your own hands. It always has been. It's only been attempted to be taken away from you very recently, you know, in the last like generation. So take it into your own hands. You're going to feel so much better about everything in your entire life, mentally, physically, spiritually. Everything's going to be better. So take it into your own hands. And with that, I'll bid everyone farewell. Homer, is a great to have you on. Where can everyone find you? Obviously, Homer Helios on Instagram, and is it the same on Twitter as well?
It is, yeah. Homer Helios everywhere, and Helios Honey coming soon. Some
Helios
new
Honey,
products.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Very exciting. Well, keep me in the loop for that. I'll definitely be interested in trying a few of those out. That sounds absolutely amazing.
Awesome. For sure, Coach. Thanks for having me on, brother.
No worries. Goodbye, everyone.